I got one more scene I want to play, and I want
Oh
to
yeah,
get
dude, for sure.
your reaction to this. I'm just going to show you. It's a real quick
Yeah.
one, and here it is. All right, so the scene we just watched has mixed reactions from audiences. One thinks that he's still kind of vain and he can't have things out of order, so he's there and he's cleaning up the mess because no one else is
Oh
doing
no.
it. Or
Nope. Nope.
the thing is like he it's the least
Blood
he
on his
could
hands.
do. Why
Yep.
everybody else, and he's there like so the doctors don't slip. He's there trying to
Yep.
do whatever he can to help out. These are the two different
Dude,
reactions. How did you take that scene?
dude, option B, dude, no question. As a guy that's been in a situation like that, dude, like the look on his face said everything. His growing frustration with how it all went leading into that point. That's the arc that he's on. Is this was only supposed to be 30 minutes. He wasn't expecting what a full half of these guys to come back wounded. He wasn't expecting to. He probably wasn't expecting to take any deaths at all, any KIA, because it was supposed to be that quick, precise. We're going to be in and out of there and back for lunch. So the only thing the brass could do in that situation, unless he's a retired medical doctor, trauma surgeon, is mop the fucking floor up. Because they even have, there's a shot in that scene after he gets the initial swab down. It comes back and you can see blood on his hands through the wipe up, if I remember right. So I mean, I think that was the message of that scene. Is that he's responsible for what happened. Whether it's, and again, in a parallel to like the Eversman bit with Banna, there's nothing he couldn't have done anything else. Like the operation was planned the way it was executed. People are going to get wounded and die during these kinds of actions. That's an unfortunate side effect of like combat. But I mean, could he have pulled the plug? And I'm glad you brought this scene up because it ties back to one of the ones I wanted to ask you as a guy that served and has been in this situation. How big of a clusterfuck was this from the command side with rerouting? I mean, the Humvees had to be rerouted. Well, that's because the Somalis put up barricades. Command couldn't have done anything about that. They were ordered not to obliterate shit with like overwhelming air superiority. I remember that indictment of Washington specifically when we were growing up, being like, why are we tying these guys' hands? Like, if we have assets, let's roll. Let's do this. We were saying that in the Gulf too. If we're there for an objective, let's get it done. So how badly did command screw up anything from his level down, not from the politician side down? But what else could they have done? They had air support. They had Overwatch with the bird calling out points and directions. They had resources on the ground. They were able to resupply.
So
what else could they have done, man?
We're also talking about an era that we didn't have drones in real time intel like we do today's military. So you can't measure it to today's military type standards.
And they said that when McKnight, Tom Sizemore's character, was like, I need a new route. And the guy's like, you gotta fucking slow down. Command gets the route, then it gets it to me, then I get it to you. We're on a delay here. It's like talking to somebody on the moon today because, the distance to the moon's the same. But, it's exactly that. It's not real time.
So when you're planning an operation like this, one of the big things is radio in real time. It's also referred to as the fog of war, because you don't know what you don't know. But also, like, you have to plan. Like, that's why the helicopter was up there with the relaying stuff from command, because radio signals can only go so far. FM radio, I think, is the planning range is 20 kilometers. They were way farther than 20 kilometers from base, so you need a retrans. That's what the helicopter was serving as, was a retrans type site. Now, it wasn't doing a true retrans. So if you're a radio guy, like I was, a 25 uniform, started off as 31 uniform, switched over to 25 uniform before I became a warrant officer. A retrans site is that we would find a hill, we would park our Humvee up there with a radio, and we would set up two big antennas, we call them OE254s, and we would plug in the frequencies. We have a cable we hook up, and then we would just sit up there and play cards while that served as a retrans site to make sure it always had power and we didn't get attacked. We had MREs to eat, and that's what a retrans site was. I've never actually been on a retrans team except for one training mission. I was only there for a day because we were just practicing training mission.
True. Yep.
So I never actually did it in combat, but that was one of the things that was one of the delays then, because we didn't have satellite communications was still coming in. Like they had satellite communication, but not like we know it today. Plus,
Not everybody's carrying it around in their pocket on a $1,500 satellite communication device like today.
Most Humvees, I mean, even when I was in the early 2000s, didn't have satellite communications in Humvees because you had to set the satellite thing up, shoot at an antenna. We didn't really have omnidirectional satellite communication antennas at the time. So that was one of the things, and like now we have so much technology. We have like built-in GPS where we can actually plot in like where enemies are and stuff like that, and it updates everybody.
Right.
I honestly just can't think of it right now because I'm thinking. So that would be a huge issue, and that's how it is back then. Like they were trying to relay the way to go.